Closing that door, or Dina can grab it. I don't have my glasses on. I can't see a thing. Okay, does everybody have a handout? Who wants one? Okay, good. Hi, I'm Jackie.
Hi, Jackie.
It's great to be here with you guys. So thank you for taking a few more minutes. What I wanted to do in this workshop is to take the principles that I spoke about in the talk and just to go deeper with it. And in order to do that, what I'd like to first just start with is, what did you hear in the talk that interested you enough that had you want to come and hear a little bit more? What resonated with you, and where do you want to go deeper? Yeah, this is the part where you talk back. Yeah, good. Yeah, go ahead.
Getting stuck with the why instead of
okay.
the why.
Why? So what she heard me say is, stop asking why. The why goes down a rabbit hole, and what do you do instead? Okay, good. Somebody else? How? You? Yeah. Get into the hows. Yep. Okay, good. Yep. Peter?
Like I was just saying to you a minute ago, the distinction between your mind, which goes yama, 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 and the mind. And I come to the workshop because I'd like to understand how to have the mind.
The mind. Oh, yeah, that is so great, Peter. Very astute listening and astute question, yeah. The heart-mind connection, yeah. That could be a whole talk and a whole workshop in itself. There's so much good science around that as well, and the creating energetic coherence between the heart and mind so that they're actually vibrating and resonating at the same frequency. It's a wonderful, wonderful topic. We'll get into that a little bit, yeah. Can you speak up so everybody can hear you?
It always strikes me that people tell you not to lead with your heart.
Yes, so sometimes people say don't lead with your heart. And what's your take on that?
I would like to lead.
You like to lead with your heart. Yeah. No, the heart has a lot of intelligence in it. And, I think the challenge for quote, the people that tell you not to lead with your heart, the challenge for all of us is to know when we are being led kind of by an authentic connection with divine mind versus being led with our ego's fears, doubts, and limitations that says why you can't do something. But yeah, there's so much intelligence to the heart. Can you give that to Wayne back there? Here, Amanda. Okay, somebody else, what did you hear in the talk that you wanted to go deeper on? There you go. Yeah. Anybody else? Yeah.
And the part where you said when something happens, you can do in your heart to make it go a different
Yeah, exactly. That life is going to happen. It's not like learning to be in constant union with the mind of God, with the one mind. It's not like it's not like that means that life doesn't happen or that things don't happen that you wish weren't happening. Life's going to happen. See, what we need to, and what science is showing us more and more, I find this just so absolutely fascinating, is that even, I want you to really toy with this. This is a new thought. I have a couple new thoughts I want to share with you. One is even this dichotomy between ego and essence, or ego and spirit, is in many ways a false dichotomy. And you'd be like, what? I've heard that for years. So what do I mean by that? Hey, Lynette. What I mean by that is I want you to start thinking about energy and consciousness just as like a matrix of energy, right? So you can see, here you go, hon. So you can see this, visualize it in your mind, that there's kind of this matrix of energy all around us. There's this unseen realm. There's all kinds of things that we can't see, but we know they're real and we don't question them. Like, for example, vision. You cannot see vision. You can't see vision. You can see what you see, but you can't see vision. But you don't question, whether or not you have vision. You know that you have it. Electricity. You don't question. You can't see electricity unless you touch it. Yeah, Wayne?
Pretty much you only see the results.
You see the results of things, but there's all kinds of things that you don't see. So there's this energetic matrix that is life, that is the universe, that God is all the time, everywhere present. But what happens is that our ego mind, or what you might call the local mind, my neurological manifestation, and my individual experience is also on the matrix. So there's the matrix of kind of the highest level of oneness and unity and love and unconditional love. So there's that level of the matrix where, like, literally nothing bothers you. You just see life. And, like, it doesn't matter if you and I have different opinions about things, because your perception is fine, whole, complete, and valid, even if I'm never going to agree with it. It's still your perception. I don't need to do anything about it, including my own perceptions. See, that's the one you have to be most careful about. Be careful not to believe everything you think. Most of what you think is not true. Most of what you think is just what you think. So when you start separating this notion of, like, oh, it's, the ego and the spirit and where's God and all of this, no, it's all God, but your local mind, either you can use the mind to link with cosmic mind, or your local mind, which is, I guess, what you call the ego, plugs in at such a low level on the matrix, the energetic matrix, that you don't have that connection with divinity. So that's one thing I want you to start thinking about, that this whole notion of ego versus spirit may be a false dichotomy. So I invite you into that. Yeah.
But that seems larger at times.
Seems larger, did you say?
The local, the ego mind.
Right, seems larger. Yeah, no, because it's all you're paying attention to. It's all you're paying attention to. You haven't trained yourself to pay attention to anything else, because it's the one you have, and at some point you forgot that you were one. Did I already give you one?
I did. But
Sorry,
I'll take two.
no. There's one back there for Bob. Pass it back for Robert. See, here's what happens. See, before you incarnated in your physical being, you were just essence. You were just spirit. And then you incarnate, whoosh, down into your physical essence, and you simply forgot. So what happens is that rather than being in the one mind, you are just in your local human mind. And there's this separation that occurs over time, not so much with infants. I think, there's some theories that believe that children literally incarnate over time. And why it's so important to protect the etheric field of young children, get those phones out of 2-year-olds' hands. Right? Like, they are still incarnating into this world, and we really have to protect their etheric nature. Anyway, so rather than thinking, with your own local mind, you've got to the way you do that is you stop believing what you think. It's like, oh, that's an interesting thought. Oh, there's another interesting thought. Oh, there's another interesting thought. And then asking yourself, what else is possible? So that's the one thing I want you to start thinking about. Instead of like, oh, well, it's just my ego is so strong. No, the ego, the mind. If you can start separating even from the ego, I mean, let's face it, folks. I say this all the time in my programs. You are addicted to your ego. Best thing you can do for yourself is get yourself to some 12-step program. You're like, well, Jackie, I'm not an addict. Yes, you are. You're addicted to being right. You're addicted to your perceptions. You're addicted to the way that you see the world. And if you don't think you are, go to some foreign country where they speak, think, believe, act very differently. You'll be like, wow, they're really wrong. Right? So, I want you to start wondering about how you've formed your identity. See, I think part of what has had us experience such strength of local mind, and I'm going to say things today that literally nobody else is saying, that I'm aware of. I believe that how we have come to understand identity based on the psychological view that what happened to you in the past creates who I am in the present. How many of you had that thought, said it 1,000 times, spent thousands of dollars in some therapist's office talking about what happened in the past that made you how you are today? Now let me debunk that for you a little bit. And I'll debunk it this way. How many of you know people who have siblings from the same gene pool, the same parent group, the same town, the same schools, the same upbringing, the same back thens, but have wildly different experiences? Some of them addicted, and some really successful or happy, and some really miserable, right? So if that were true, that you are a product of the past, wouldn't everyone who came from the same past have the same present and future? If that's true, you have to play it out all the way. But no, of course, we know that's not true. So what else might be possible? I'm looking to a day that we actually start seeing developmental theory not from a psychological perspective, but from an energy perspective. Energy and consciousness. I am the way that I am because of the energy that I live in. I am the way that I am not because of the past, but because of who I've declared myself to be and where I am going with my future because of that. That's a mouthful. Maybe, so locating your identity, not with local mind, but with the one mind that you came here to represent with your physical spacesuit, with your body, with your life.
I didn't see all of your main talk, but I wanted to know if there's a possibility that you can address one of the issues that comes up for me most in recreating myself is getting in that vibration even more when I want to. It might be easy in certain circumstances, and your techniques for how you get to that higher love vibration, how you stay there, because a lot of them I've studied and they seem like, okay, I know them cognitively, but since you're living in it so much and creating and manifesting so many things that you want in this realm, I'd like to know what you personally use to get yourself to that state.
Yeah.
And stay there with action.
So the question is, what do I personally do to get myself to that state of oneness with cosmic mind rather than being directed by my local mind? Is that the question?
And remaining in that state after you, like, say, leave meditation or something like that.
Yeah, I'm meditating all the time.
Right, okay, yeah, that's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. That realm
How to
of
stay in that realm of consciousness.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lifetime of work. But no, I love it. It's a great question, and I'll tell you, but you probably won't believe me because it's actually very simple in how you do it, and it's the hardest thing you'll ever do because you have to literally do it every second. You have to live awakened, and living awakened means that you are literally watching what your local mind is doing and deciding what to... So this is interesting, right? Now I'm sounding a little schizophrenic. You have to watch what your local mind is doing and then decide where to direct your local mind. And you do it every second. Because your local mind is always going to kind of gravitate toward the energetic field that you've most been in. Your local mind is going to always gravitate on that matrix toward the energetic that you're most in. Does that make sense? Actually, I'll just bring this in. I'm kind of going off the cuff here. But so you've got the handout that has this vibe model, which is a model of energetic consciousness. And you'll notice the words on the left-hand side, survival, stress, transformation, and transcendence. Mark is trying to zoom in on this little thing here. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. It's for people who are watching at home in England. I hope David's there, and I got a bunch of my friends who are watching from all around. Anyway, so this, when I say grow in energetic consciousness or where you are in the matrix, this is what I'm referring to. Where are you on this matrix? Now, a couple things about it. First of all, most of you are going to be like, well, yes, I think I'm always living in unconditional peace, joy, and wonder. Like, so if you think that, let me just be straight up, you're wrong. Now, why do I say that? Why do I say you're wrong? If that offends anybody, I apologize. You're right. I don't know you, but I know consciousness really, really well. And what I know is that if you ever have a worry, if you ever have a thought of separation, if you ever have any sense of littleness or upset or blame, then you don't live in that transcendent consciousness. Now, I believe you absolutely have experiences of transcendence and consciousness. I absolutely believe that. So our goal in our human existence is to have less and less of the yeah down here in stress and survival, and more of this experience in transformation and transcendence. How do you do that? You do that by literally having an awakened mind, paying attention all the time to what your thoughts are, and then choosing how to interact with them. choosing what you want to focus on. Choosing what you want to focus on in your thought world. Now, I really get this is so hard, which is why people don't believe it. People don't believe that you can actually do it. It's like, yeah, I tried that. So then what have I done? Well, I spent a lot of time, well, not a lot of time, but I meditate. So meditation, what meditation will do for you is gives you the ability to observe your thoughts. And you're like, yeah, I tried that before. I couldn't stop my thoughts. No kidding. That's what meditation is. It's coming to the realization of what your mind is doing. That's what meditation is, right? So that's number one, is just developing that awareness, that ability to introspect. And then second thing I do to answer your question is I really am super clear who I am. I'm nothing other than who I've invented and declared myself to be. So for me, that's my mission statement, which is based on my values, which is based on my purpose, which is to grow in consciousness back to the divinity from which I came, to grow up this spiral. My mission is I'm a torchbearer for a vision of a world transformed, illuminating freedom, fulfillment, and passion, igniting the flame of infinite possibility for the human spirit. So if I have any thought that's not aligned with that, I have to just either transform the thought or laugh at it. I spend a lot of time laughing at my thoughts. I just do. See, that's the only difference between you and me, is if you have any upset or whatever, it's because you believe thoughts of the local mind. And I just find it to be good comedy or good drama. I don't believe thoughts of the local mind. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting thought. So the second thing I want to say that's really radically different from what most people say is that I believe that our identity needs to be based in who we say we are and the vision that we're creating, growing in energetic consciousness back to the divinity from which we came. Not your past, not your parents, not your addiction, not your divorce, not your diagnosis, not the blah, blah, blahs. Those are things that you have, like feet, butt, and brown hair. Those are things you have, but they're not who you are. Do you understand that distinction? And too often, people in our culture identify themselves with who they are. With what they have, rather than who they are. Boy, I'm saying a lot, man. I'm on a roll. Where does all this shit come from? I'm not this smart. Just in case you're wondering, I am, what is that whistling? Oh, really? It was you? Oh, that was so sweet. Why were you whistling at me? Because I look hot? That's that too. Good, thanks, Annie. No, but it's amazing, right? I don't know who thinks this stuff. But I've been teaching consciousness for 20 years. And 20 years ago, I couldn't even talk about it like consciousness. I had to find other ways to dress it up. Now everybody's talking about consciousness. I promise you, 20 years from now, people will be like, hey, remember when we thought that how we were was about what happened to us in the past? I'm telling you, we are moving in that direction because it's not true. That's a bold statement. 99.9999% of Americans be like, what? We know that who we are is a product of our past. I'm saying it's not true. And see, that's the other thing. So you've asked me, what do I do that keeps me in that realm? If I really do not believe that, do you know how much freedom that gives me? Unbelievable freedom. So I'm not a prisoner of that whole thinking. So if you're not that, then it's like, woohoo, who are you? That's where it gets really interesting. Who I am is my God self in manifestation every day. It's just a party every day. Guys are like, Jackie, you're not that happy every day. Knock that shit off. I'm so funny.
Can I come stay at your place?
Yes, come hang out with me, Peter, anytime. All right, good. So let's just go to your handout a little bit. I could just do this, just have a conversation with you for days. But then there's always the 2 or 3 people in the audience that are like, but what about what's on the? So let me do a little of both. Yeah. So what's on the workshop? So what does it mean living in quantum consciousness? And it's basically what I've just said to you. It is living beyond the realm of appearances. I heard that, I can't remember where I heard this or if I read it I think I read it in a book, this guy was had a new idea about writing a book, and he wanted to write a book about consciousness or energy or something. And so he reached out to all these big names like Deepak Chopra and Norm Sheedy and like all these guys who've written books. And he said, I'd like you to contribute a chapter, and I'm going to be writing this book. And so every time he'd get like a postcard, this was way back before the internet, he'd get a postcard back from somebody, even if it had a no check on it, like, yeah, are you interested? Yes, no, I'll contribute, I won't, whatever. He'd get a no check. Like, Deepak would be like, no, I'm not doing that. He'd be like, yes, that's amazing. I love that because now I have a conversation with Deepak. This is great. See, that's living beyond the world of appearances. Living into what is in your heart, your mind's eye, your vision for how God wants to express through and as you. So living that like that's what's real. That story about Amy Purdy being a snowboarder while she's lying in her bed with no feet, with no lower legs, but she's a snowboarder. I wasn't just seeing it in my mind, I was snowboarding. That is living in quantum consciousness. All of the physical stuff, well, yeah, okay, that's got to catch up with me. That's got to catch up with me, but this is my reality. My reality is what is in the spiritual power of my imagination. And then the rest of it is just manifestation, mind to matter. Right? So not seeing your reality as the physical world around you, but as the cosmic or energetic field that you are constantly creating. See, here's what you're up against, guys. Let's come back to this model. What you're up against is that consciousness research shows that most people in mainstream America are living at like what I call high level 1, which is survival, low stress. So right here between anger, frustration, anxiety, overwhelm, and drivenness. And like just think, right? I'm not telling you anything you don't know. I'm just putting a certain frame to it. Most people are living completely overwhelmed and chaotic, feeling like they can't keep up, and either working really hard to keep up with it all. That's moving into level 2, stress consciousness, or saying, screw it, I can't be bothered. That's moving down into level 1, survival consciousness. You see that? So the challenge for us as people really deeply desiring to live a committed, awakened life is that this is the soup that we are swimming in. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. This is your workplace. This is probably a lot of your family. I love that Bible verse that I used after I told the Amy Purdy story today. Does anyone remember? Do not be conformed to the pattern of this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. In fact, I think I said the verse wrong, now that I say it here. This was how it was supposed to sound. Do not be conformed to the pattern of the world. Look right here. This is the pattern of the world. Stress-ridden survival consciousness is the soup we are swimming in. It is the energetic matrix. I'm not affirming that, I'm observing that. Our possibility is to keep surrounding ourselves with more and more people that are living in these higher realms of, even if you can just get to optimism, like, yeah, okay, what the hell? I'll give it a shot, why not? That is better than, yeah, it's good for you, but it's not happening for me. Right? Do you understand the difference? So that's where our work is. So back to my definition. Yeah.
Be transformed by the
yeah, Romans 12:2. Romans 12:2. It says, yeah, that's the verse. I sound like a Southern. How am I doing, Lavera? This is my friend Lavera. She's from Texas. Yeah. I know, right? So it's Romans 12:2. Do not be conformed by the ways of this world. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. I just kind of like it when I can do that. It makes me feel all like ministerial and stuff. But then I like drop like F-bombs, and then it's like, you know, the whole minister thing doesn't work quite as well. Yeah. I'm the F-bomb dropping minister. I'm not a minister, for those of you who know. I'm a spiritual teacher, but not an ordained minister. Yes, Peter.
So I'm going to ask you to say a little bit more about, so we're swimming in this sea of lower consciousness.
We kind of are, right?
Public.
Yeah, yeah.
And we need to seek out the places where people of higher consciousness
Yeah, so I'll borrow from Gandhi. Be the change you want to see in the world. So here's what I do. Going back to your question. Okay, Peter, I'll answer this. And if,
Or is it more that we need to bring...
it's both and. It's both and. Come to church here. Take classes here. Get involved in this ministry. You have no idea what a gem this is. I travel all around the country speaking at Unity churches. There is no ministry like this that I have found, except maybe Omaha, Nebraska, which is amazing in the middle of Omaha, Nebraska. Anyway, this is an amazing place. Be here, develop relationships here, get to know people here, other Unity churches if you don't live close to this. But yes, so surround yourself with like-minded people online. I'm developing a coach community. I'm training coaches to teach conscious living curriculums and methods. Work with me, play in my sandbox. So create a community of people. But then we still have Thanksgiving, right? We still have to go home for Christmas. There's still those other human beings out there. It's like the more I'm around people, the more I like my dog, and I don't even have a dog, right? So it's both and. So Peter, yes, that, and I'm sorry, what was your name? Allie. Allie asked me, Jackie, how do you do it? So when I'm, kind of out there, I teach a leadership program at a university where I'm teaching all of these consciousness principles. And oh my God, let me just tell you, it's not like this conversation. It's like Consciousness 101, right? Where people are like, that's too woo-woo. Is that new age? Right? So I'm in it too, guys. So what I do when I'm just kind of out in public, it's ridiculous. My son hates it. I have these conversations with people everywhere. So for example, I'm walking into the Bank of America ATM on H Street in DC, and you know how there's a little ledge by the window, and there's this group of kids rolling a joint as I'm trying to walk into the ATM. And no kidding, I look, and I was so taken aback. I looked and I stopped, it's what the hell are you guys doing? They're like, what? I was like, you gonna smoke that thing? They're like, yeah. I was like, I wanna smack that right out of your hands. And they're looking at me like, I was like, no, seriously, you're going to do that to your brain? They're like, hey, don't be messing with my weed. Look, I go to school. I'm not doing that hard stuff. I'm getting good grades. And I was like, good for you, good for you. I love that. I said, but your consciousness, your energy, your brain, you're what do you? So I'm I'm preaching all the time. We had this great conversation, and they were so proud of themselves, right? I don't do the hard stuff. I'm like, good for you, right? But what are you doing to your mind? And then I said, look, I got a 13-year-old son, and the thought of my son standing on a street corner doing that just breaks my heart. And they just wanted to hug me. We had this sweet little exchange. People that I say, so it drives my son crazy. He wasn't with me that day. I wouldn't have gone that far. He'd be like, Mom, stop. Anyway, so the people who serve my coffee at Dunkin' Donuts, I get related. I look at them. I thank them. I'm like, wow, that's a beautiful tattoo. That's awesome. Where'd you get that? This gal at Dunkin' Donuts down in DC, she sings to me every morning. She sings to me because I heard her one day and I saw her. I was like, you got the most beautiful voice. So now she's coming in, she'll see me coming in the door and she starts. I'm like, you got me. Right, so you bring that light. Be the change you want to see in the world. I am conscious about it. I don't have a past to be in a shitty mood. I don't have a past to be in a shitty mood. And oh, by the way, if you're in my space right now, neither do you. Because that's the people that I attract to me. People that want to just kind of wallow in their pissy moods don't hang out with me because I'm a drag. Because I just don't have room for it. And Dina's like, yeah, no kidding, right? You just can't. Right, what'd you say? Don't bother, right. Because there's just no room for it. There's no reason for it. Now, look, I know, life can be whatever life is. But look, life is what you say it is. We are so blessed in this world, even with that man as president, sorry. We are still so blessed in this world, what we have. And if, so you can see that, or you can be like, oh, wow, my bank account has $550 in it. Well, hey, you got a house and you got a car and probably a cracker or two in your cupboard. We're blessed. It's all a matter of how you're going to see it, and how you see it depends on this spiral. Yeah?
You just gave me an insight, and can you correct me whether this is true or what you just said? Because you say bring our light, right? Well, sometimes we perceive that as, be a light, kind of a little bit more heavy even. But what I heard, what you just said was, what you're saying is, the way you stay connected to the full mind is by being fully yourself.
Yeah.
and speaking whatever's really on your mind. And I think that's the real challenge today, because we're so trying to be politically correct, not say something in case you don't like that person or that, that political leader or whatever.
That's just bullshit. You know, you got to be respectful,
Right.
but you got to be who like, there's only one of you. When I talk about living in quantum consciousness, what I mean is for you being your God self on earth. You being your God self on earth. So for me, it's kind of light and funny and a little in your face. Like Lavira over here, she's from Texas. She's like the nicest thing. Lisa, God, these people are like so nice. I don't know how they hang around me. Lynette, you're a little too nice. Yeah, and then there's Dina and Amanda. Not so much. Not so much, right? Annie, you're kind of in my camp, you know. Right? So like, I can just be, like, so did you notice how I dressed today?
Yes.
What'd you guys think?
Yes.
Right? What'd you think? Well, you wouldn't notice if you didn't, right? Kind of hard to miss. No, but I'm normally like really like dressed uber professional and a little on the conservative side. And you know, I've just gotten, this is really funny. I've got that, and I love that I used to dress like that, or that was my thing, because I was really modeling myself after Shipley Allenson, who was such a teacher and a mentor to me, and she was always so perfect in her presentation. So I always had to be so perfect in my presentation, but honestly, that's not me. I'm a little like irreverent and who gives a shit and isn't this fun to wear kind of gal. So it doesn't matter how old you are. I'm not 13, I'm 55 freaking years old, but I'm still growing into the full essence of the God self of who I am.
That's what I'm saying, though. That brings you out
Thank
of your
you.
ego when you be your full self.
Yeah, you just can't be in your, because I don't, you know, I'm sure I have an ego somewhere, but I just don't care if I have one. Right? So it's not about that. It is about being the fullness of yourself. So for me, what that looks like, but it looks this way for each of you. It might look a little different if you're watching the video of it, but it's seeing people. Shipley used to say that to me. She said, you are so good at seeing and beholding people. So it's literally seeing people. Even those people that are being assholes and you disagree with everything they say, fine, fine. You don't have to be their best friend, but see them. Bring your Christ-light consciousness everywhere you go, right? So I want to get anything else anybody wants to ask questions-wise? Okay, good. So let me see. So did I finish that sentence? Christ is creating the energetic condition. Oh, I love this sentence. Let's be with this together. So the paragraph 1, last sentence. So living in quantum consciousness, it requires creating the energetic conditions in your life that lead to ongoing creation of your desires, resulting in ever-expanding good for yourself and the world. Isn't that a great sentence? Who wrote that? I did. Just in case you're like, I don't know, did you get that from a book? No, I wrote that. But isn't this great? It requires creating the energetic conditions in your life. So let's stop there. What does that mean? How do you create the energetic conditions in your life? Yeah, you're thinking, yeah, Dina?
Well, you just don't stand in the way.
You don't stand in the way because the energy is going to be there, right?
You don't allow the things that don't fit to be there.
You don't allow the things that don't fit with your energy to be there. Good, good, Peter?
Yeah, I was going to say thinking, but also attitude.
Your attitudes, right? So yeah, thank you for saying that. It's triggering a thought for me. So how I define consciousness is this acronym that I use called your BEAT. Beliefs, emotions, attitudes, and thoughts. There's a vibratory pattern of each of those that creates the sum total of who you are. Your beliefs, emotions, attitudes, and thoughts. That is what creates your consciousness. So how do we create the energetic conditions in life? Oh, thank you. God, you saw my throat. See, she's seeing me.
I'm seeing you.
Yeah, seeing me, baby. Thank you so much. Yeah, you were going to chime in?
I was just going to say, for me, it's the starting point.
Yeah.
For cultivating that space that everything comes out of is through meditation.
Meditation, yeah, absolutely. But you can't meditate every second, right? So, so let's get into this a little bit. So how do I develop and live in it? There's the question right there, right in the middle of the page. That question that Ali asked me. How do I develop and live in quantum consciousness? So the first little bullet there says, bring integrity into every area of your life. So what does that mean? Show up, okay. What else? Dina? Mm-hmm. Be true to your word, show up, bring your values, be true to yourself. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Okay, good. Pay attention. So to me, and how coaches use the word integrity, is it's creating workability in every area of your life. It's creating a life that works. As a coach, I use the word integrity more like an architect would. Structural integrity. How's the structural integrity of your life? Sorry? It doesn't move, right. Creating a life that's solid, that's grounded. Lavira said that about me. She went to a retreat that I led that had 4 of my life design students in it. And she said, what got me so interested in life design is all 4 of those people who were at that workshop were so clear and grounded in who they were. So I knew that there had to be something that you're doing. And that's so powerful. Amy, hi Amy. Yeah.
I'm feeling like it needs to be less solid and more flexible.
Say more, because it can be both and.
Well, because there are these big perturbations in my life, and yet I want to maintain some sort of integrity of who I am.
Yeah, okay. So I would challenge you to call them circumstances rather than perturbations. Just a thought. You don't have to, but it's just a different way of relating to it. Yeah, so there's always going to be circumstances in life, but circumstances and integrity are not the same thing. Circumstances are coming at me. Integrity means my life is still going to work because who I am is so firmly clear and established. That gives rise to my next whatever, to my next whatever, to my next creation of my life. So I want you to think about this. How do you bring integrity to money in your life? I see some eye rolling in the room. Let's ask. So if I define integrity as workability, how do you bring integrity to money?
Pay attention to it.
Yeah, you get your financial life in order. You manage your debts. You make arrangements to take care of debts that you have not taken care of. You pay your back taxes. You set up the retirement account that maybe you haven't set up yet. You live within your means. You set financial goals. How many of you don't like me right now? So when I say bring integrity to every area of your life, everybody's like, yeah, that's good. Be your word, that's good. I like that. But let's get really clear and specific. What's the condition of your house? How much have order? Order is a very high consciousness principle. It's a quote from Dr. David Hawkins, who wrote the book Power versus Force. One of the first. Order is a very high consciousness principle. So when you're looking at bringing integrity to every area of your life, defining integrity is what works. Now, again, just backing up and giving you the metaphysics of this. The metaphysics of integrity in coaching is that things have to be aligned. And it's just not in alignment to have a physical universe that is in disarray. There's no alignment in that. It's chaos. There's no alignment to flying by the seat of your pants financially when you're constantly worried and under stress, and right? So it's really bringing alignment. Everything in the universe operates through intricate order. So the more that you can bring and align with the energy of the universe in everything that you're doing, your finances, your home, then let's look at your relationships. If you've got relationships in your life where you don't want to see that person, you haven't spoken to them in a while, it's a place to go that's not working. You either have to be whole and complete with them or whole and complete without them. But in between is not bringing integrity. So those of you who are kind of held up about money, my Money Vibe book, I don't know if there's any left out there, but my Money Vibe book addresses this specifically, gives you tons of exercises to do and inventories to check your life. It'll walk you through how to create new financial beliefs. Money is a very central part of our life. You cannot ignore it and think you're going to be living a high vibration life. And that doesn't mean you have to have a ton of money. It doesn't. It means that you have to live in integrity with the money that you have. Okay, I want to hear from you. I'm saying a lot, so I need to know that you're tracking and digesting. So funny, you talk about money and nobody wants to talk back. Yeah, Lisa, and then over here. Angie, is that your name?
Kathy.
Angie. Okay, close, close. Yeah, Lisa?
I can comment on the money part, because when you first wrote your book Money Vibe and you took that 30-day
30-day challenge, yeah.
all I did was worry about money all my life. And now I don't think about it such. I really don't. And I need to thank for that, Jackie.
Hmm,
And I know it's a process and
it's beautiful.
I just don't worry about it.
It's beautiful. So how I define financial freedom in the book is never having to worry about money, whether you have any or not. Because worry is a consciousness. Money is a material expression. That's great, Lisa. I remember you saying that. It's a huge transformation.
It's huge.
Yeah. Kathy with a C.
I wonder if there's an order in which these things come to you, like you're talking about home,
Yeah.
money.
Yeah. How do you know where to dive in?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love borrowing from the wisdom of the 12 steps tradition. And in the 12 steps, they say, deal with the addiction that's killing you the fastest. And I think that while that principle may be a little extreme, I also look at that about bringing what I call structural integrity to your life. Deal with the area that's killing you the fastest. Now, maybe it's not killing you, but you know what I mean. Killing your spirit is exactly right. It's killing your spirit. It's lowering your energy. It's when you look at that area, whether it's relationships or finances or your health or whatever it is, when you look at that area, you're like, oh, crap. Oh, crap. Energy, that's going to keep you connected to local mind. That is local mind. One of my spiritual teachers and mentors, Dr. David Hawkins, said, You'll know that you've transcended the levels of consciousness when you can look at a garbage heap and see God there. Right? So it's seeing God in everything rather than, oh, crap. Oh, but that. So Kathy, maybe you're like, oh, okay, like deal with the thing that's killing me the fastest, but my whole life is a mess. You know, I'm not saying you did say that, but somebody in here has that thought. You know, if really it's like equally a tragic mess everywhere, every area of my life, just pick one that feels like that you have the lightest energy and the greatest potential and possibility about. Everything is energy. So for those of you who are like, yeah, no, I totally get this, but I've got 5 of those areas. Just pick one. You know, Lisa mentioned something that I want to mention to all of you. It's called the 30-Day Money Vibe Challenge, and it's just a 30-day process that I created after I wrote my book, the Money Vibe book. So you can, it's free. You sign up for it. Let me just tell you how to do that, and then I'll tell you what it is. So the website is moneyvibemethod.com. moneyvibemethod.com. And you can sign up for it there, and then what happens is what I ask you to do at the beginning of it is you set an intention for how much unexpected income you'd like to bring into your life. So I normally do, in the next 30 days. So how much money would you like to bring in your life in the next 30 days? Unexpected income, not your salary, you know, not the sale that you already have that you know is coming in next week. No, not that. Unexpected income. And, and you hold that intention in mind every day for 30 days. And then you get an email from me every day for 30 days. Isn't that sweet? Me in your inbox every day saying, hello. And the first email tells you you have to do this experiment in a particular energy. You have to take it on with the energy of enthusiasm, excitement, and expectancy. Because if you take it on with fear and trepidation, what's going to happen? Where is fear and trepidation on, oops, I don't have it, but on that little spiral? It's at the bottom. Where is hope and anticipation and excitement and expectancy? Upwards of the top. So where are you going to plug into the matrix? So I designed it to tell you where to plug into the matrix. Yeah, Wayne?
Can you give some examples of how that's happened for people?
Oh yeah, tons of them. Tons of them. Every time I have done it, so I set my own 30-day intentions for $10,000 in 30 days, and every single time that I have done it, I've received $10,000 of unexpected income in 30 days. One of my life design students doesn't have the prosperity consciousness that I have. And by the way, this is all relative. Notice I didn't say $100,000 in 30 days, so it's all relative. But one of my students didn't have that prosperity consciousness, and she said $500 over 30 days of unexpected income. She's a salaried person, didn't see where she would have any extra money coming in, so She set it at $500. The next day, someone sent her a $500 check because of a dispute they had had, and she felt in her own conscience that she owed her that money and sent her the $500. And she calls me up. She's like, Jackie, what should I do? I got the $500 already. It's only day 2. Should I, do I set another one? Now what do I do? Do I send it back? Yeah, do you remember? You got that same phone call, didn't you, Lisa? So, right. So I'm telling a true story because Lisa got the same phone call. Lisa, do you want to tell yours, your 30-day challenge? Have you done it before?
Oh, God. I always want more. Yeah, I did 30, I set $10,000, and I have been following my mortgage and what I owed on my mortgage, and I thought it was a certain amount, and it was like $20,000 less.
Oh, wow.
What?
Nice.
So that happened twice.
That happened twice. Wow.
It's always with the mortgage.
Yep.
I don't know
So right, it
how
might be
it's
money
happened.
coming in, it might be debts going down. Yeah. It's a one, so So a colleague of mine who is in financial services, she emailed me and she was afraid to do it on her own, so she asked me to do it with her. And I was like, sure, fine. And she set hers also for $10,000, and within 2.5 weeks, she got the $10,000 of unexpected income. It's crazy. It's out, and it's things like, you get a rebate check from, your insurance company, or a family member will send you money, or somebody who just has it on their conscience that they owe you money. It will show up. Yeah, Lavira?
I did it after that retreat in Sedona, and I did it for $6,000.
Oh, right. You're another one. Yeah.
Stephanie Roy asked me to be her money advisor, and we did it. And I got $5,500 in that first month, and then the other $500 was a couple of months after that.
Unexpected.
Surprise to me.
So I want to speak about why I created this, because, again, going back to Ellie's question, how do you do this? Part of how you do this is you have to train your mind. And money interests most people, right? It's fun. It's fun to play with. It's concrete. It's not like I'm saying, have more love in your life, although you can certainly use it for that as well. I can't tell you how many coaching clients I have helped manifest love relationships in their lives. Many of you know some of them here in the Life Design community or in the Unity community. But money is just very concrete. The numbers are concrete, and everybody's kind of interested in money. More money is kind of fun. It's not like a bad thing, right? So it's concrete, it's fun, it's something everyone's interested in, and you can measure it, and it trains you every day. So you get an email from me every day with an intention, an affirmation, and an action every day. An intention, an affirmation, and an action. So it's just a mental exercise, and then the action is like smile at somebody. Send somebody an email telling them you appreciate them. Clean out one drawer or closet in your space. But do each action holding the intention for the excitement, enthusiasm, and expectancy of the unexpected income coming into your life. See, when you start doing this over and over and over again, what you really understand and you can't deny is that your mind creates matter. Your thoughts are creative. But we're just not trained. How are you using your mind? The theme of my talk today. How are you using your mind? You don't use your mind for specific purposes to advance your God self. You use your local mind to survive life. That switch from using your local mind to survive life and just get through it to I am my non-local mind, I am the mind of God, I am the mind of the cosmos, creating life. What does God do? God creates life. What do? We create life. Using the mind of God, the non-local mind. Isn't that awesome? It's like the coolest thing. Like, if that story about Amy Purdy and Alex Hanold's brain, Alex Hanold, who is this rock climber, and his amygdala is actually smaller than the normal amygdala because of how he's used his mind. And if that doesn't blow you away, you're not paying attention. These are astounding stories of what we're capable of when we use our mind to change our brain. Science shows that just 2 to 3 hours of focused attention on a certain area changes your neural pathways. But then, so let me say that again, because I really want you to get that. So like right now, you are changing your brain because you're thinking about energy and consciousness in your life in a new and different way. So it's changing your neural pathways. So science shows that just 2 or 3 hours of that focused study on any area, could be math, could be energy, science, doesn't matter, focused area, 2 to 3 hours, changes your neural connections. So your brain's like, oh, I got to pay attention over here. She wants to learn about energy and consciousness. Okay, and your brain starts doing that. However, and this is why you guys don't understand that it's easy, it's simple, yet hard to do. However, if you don't stay in that line of thinking and in that line of study, your brain goes back to its default. So that's why I say these principles are so easy, but it's the hardest thing you'll ever do, because it's every day focusing on, how am I using my mind today? What am I focusing on? What am I focusing on? And if you don't have an answer to that, and in some way it doesn't matter what it is. Right now I'm focusing on creating a community of coaches who are conscious living coaches. Like, that's what I think about all the time. And I'm talking to people, I'm training people, and I'm engaged in that. Like, and I'm using the spiritual power of imagination to see me hitting that 100th coach. Maybe it'll be you, Katie. Better be before 100, actually. But, and this is what I did when I did my my first $10,000 in 30 days. I had this visualization of me and my family doing high fives and butt wiggle happy dances in the kitchen. And that was it. That's like how I knew I'd accomplished it. I have that same visualization for hitting my 100th coach. That's how I'm using my mind. So that's what I'm talking about. For you, it could be a love relationship. It could be like the day that you pay off that last credit card. And you're like, yes. It's a fist bump. It's some celebration using your mind. And then the more you use your mind to focus on that thing, literally your mind creates energetic waves. Electroencephalograms can measure them. We can measure your brain waves. So when you create these brain waves, it goes out and it connects on the matrix with other people who are having those brain waves, and it brings to you what you are thinking about. This is not woo-woo philosophy. It is woo-woo philosophy. Isn't that cool? Because Unity's been saying this for 115 years, and even way before that. Rumi was writing about this. Jesus spoke about this. Buddha spoke about this. But now it's like science. It's like, yeah, this how it works. Yeah, cool. It's nice to meet you, Al. All right. So bring integrity to every aspect of your life. Oh, Allie, make sure you watch this next part online, okay? Because it's really cool. It's going to keep answering that question of yours. So, we're good with the what time is it? 1 o'clock. What time are we supposed to end? Like when? Tomorrow. You're sweet. I'll bring you home with me.
I have my bags.
That's so sweet. That totally freaking made my day. I look like all well and put together up here, but I still have this part of me that's like, am I making any sense? Do they like me? Do they like me? Do they like me? Do they like me, Annie? Yes. Annie likes me. Okay, good. Right? We all have it, Yeah, no, I'll say it out loud. Now, I also have to say there's another part of me that's like, I don't give a shit if you like me. Because I'm pretty committed to what I'm teaching. Not like you personally. Like you personally, I want you to like me. But my commitment to the message is so big that I do want you to like me. And there's part of me that's like, yeah, well, you're going to like me or not, because I'm going to teach this stuff in the day hall of the nursing home until I die.
Well, you're a lot cooler now than you were 10 years ago. Thank you. Better looking too. All right.
So we got number 1, right? Bring integrity to every area of your life. And do it within the intention of moving into this quantum realm, not using your mind. Don't look at that messed up closet and be like, oh, I'm such a loser. No, that's local mind. Look at that messed up closet or that messed up checkbook or whatever it is, that messed up whatever of your life, and be like, I have the intention of bringing integrity to every area of my life. And you train that neural pathway. You say that over and over again. Write it down. Put it on the mirror. Do whatever you have to do. Because otherwise you're just going to go right back to local mind. And local mind will do what it does. And then you can watch that too. Really, it's hard to get anything done, It's like, oh, there's local mind again. Oh, wait, no, I'm going over here with cosmic mind. Oh, no, there's local mind again. It's hard to get anything done. Just don't give it any power, right? Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2 is raise your vibe. So we've already spoken about this fairly well, but I want to, so actually these two, raise your vibe and manage and elevate your beat. Let's just make sure, yeah. Good. So so the raising your vibe, I want to make sure that you understand this model. It's pretty intuitive and it makes sense. But, what I want to say about this is that very, very good chance. We all kind of walk around because we go to a Unity Church and we read all these fabulous books and we subscribe to the right podcasts, that we have this illusion of being this very high consciousness person. And maybe you are. But this is a really good model. Like, make copies of this and put it everywhere in your, in your car, when you're in traffic, what's your consciousness? When you're paying your bills, put this right in front of you. When you're paying your bills, what's your consciousness? When you've just had a fight with your spouse, what consciousness are you in? So really looking to see your consciousness is the energetic condition of your life. And how you'll know what yours is by A, looking at what you're thinking, and B, watch what's coming out of your mouth. Emails are great for this. I love that delete button. And then you... Oh, shit. There you go. Have a nice day. That's not how I see it. I totally get it. Okay, cool. Reset. Reset your consciousness. Emails are great for that because you can actually see the crap that's coming out of your mouth, crap that's in your head. And it's just crap. Just don't care too much about it. And then sometimes it can be really funny. You'll be in conversations. Maybe you're whining and complaining about something, and you can just be like, you know what? I'm just going to stop here. And just shut up. Just shut up. Just stop saying it. Redirect. Yeah, Wayne?
Another part of that is your word choice, just like you mentioned to Peter over here. Ever since I became a really good speller since 6th grade, I paid attention to words. And I've discovered that if you look at the word choices and say, is that what I meant? Then change it and find another word. Stand in front of a lawyer or a judge and say something and see what it turns out to be, and then go home and say, but lawyers use this language. I could have said, and the results would have been different.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. You're right. There was a whole Twitter stream this week about whether Robert Mueller uses the word pled or pleaded, and which is the appropriate word. Anyway, it was an interesting little Twitter stream this week. All right. I want to do anything anybody wants to say about the model or ask questions about consciousness. Yeah.
So when you notice that you're using your local mind.
Yes.
Like you had said to stop.
I actually am going to teach you a 3-step process on how to do that right now. Good. So we'll handle that. Anything else? Okay. So I really like my work to be practical, and I know it's kind of hard to talk in front of a group of people. So I just want you to turn to a partner and take any area of what's on your sheet, the consciousness model and the quantum consciousness and creating the energetic conditions and bringing integrity to every area of your life. Just pick one of those and apply it to your life. So and what it looks like is this. What I'm noticing about my life in relation to bringing integrity to every area, creating the energetic conditions, what I'm noticing about my life is clear? Is the instruction clear? No? Okay, so I want you to, so you've heard me say this before, Peter. Knowledge makes no difference. We all think it does. We live in New England where everybody has a PhD. You're undereducated if you have a master's degree, right? So we think that knowledge is king. Knowledge, what I've just said to you, the concepts that I've said to you, makes no difference until you apply it to your life. So it could, so let me just look for myself. What I'm noticing in my life about creating the energetic conditions, this is good. What I'm noticing in my life about creating the energetic conditions of my life is that when I wake up in the morning, I still have the remnants of depression. And I wake up in the mornings, and it lasts for about 2 to 5 minutes of oh shit, it's morning. I gotta get going with my day. And I have this very low vibe experience of entering the day. And because I know that we are always creating the energetic conditions of our lives, I've started doing a heart coherence meditation as soon as I wake up. So it's oh, shit, it's 6 o'clock. Boom. I put my heart on my hand on my heart, and I breathe. I breathe, I am love, I give love, I am love, I give love. And I breathe in through my heart, up through my third eye, and back to the heart, and back out to giving love. I'll see my son, who I have to go wake up in 10 minutes and get him out of bed. Sending love to my son. I hear my spouse downstairs. I've got the cat up on top. And it's just breathing in love, bringing out love. So that's an area of my life that I've been working on to forge out that last remnants of clinical depression in my life. So that's like a real example. So it's, so what I'm seeing in my life in regards to, and then, quantum consciousness or bringing integrity or the energy field we're constantly creating. So these are the things we've talked about so far. What I'm seeing in my life about creating the energy field that I'm constantly creating is, and then just see what insight have you had, and then what are you going to do about it? And if you don't know what you're going to do about it, that's okay. We've still got another few minutes together. You can ask me. Okay? So 2s or 3s, hop up with somebody, and Vanessa, hop up there with Bob, and 2s and 3s. And about 3 minutes each. So one person go for about 3 minutes, and then in 3 minutes I'm going to say switch, and then please switch in 3 minutes. Okay, go ahead. So you guys can just keep talking to each other. I just want to say a minute to the people who are watching on live stream. Go ahead, keep talking to each other. Ignore me. So if you're watching on live stream and you're alone, you can do this as a journaling exercise. And if you're watching this on live stream and you're there with a partner, go ahead and have that conversation with the partner that you're watching with. Okay? Thanks. Change partners, so the other person goes if you haven't switched yet. Do I want to what? Okay. Come on back here with me. All right, you can have another minute. I got a little pushback. Look at what a powerful creator you are over there. All right, one more minute. All right, that wasn't a minute, I lied, but let's go anyway. Most of you look like you're done. So did you get the difference? All right, it's good to talk to each other. Did you get the difference between kind of grappling with this in your head and actually trying to drop it down in and apply it to your life? What did you see? Anybody want to share anything that you saw, any insight that you had, or any question that you were left with after trying to bring it into your own life? Yeah, Wayne?
Self-discipline to actually put these principles to work.
Interesting. Someone just said that to me last week, like, wow, you are so disciplined. And it's funny, I don't see myself as a person who's disciplined. I see myself as a person who's super, super clear on who I am and what my life is for. And that feels like it leaves me with no option. I mean, that's a good question. I think something is necessary, because I do not, I mean, I look at Lisa Polonzi, actually. She is a person that I look to as being incredibly disciplined. Gets up, and Dina, get up every single morning to take a sunrise picture. Not in my wildest dreams. There's not a damn thing I do every morning. Like, there's not a damn thing I do every day except maybe brush my teeth. Like, nothing I do every day. I don't work out every day. I don't meditate every day. I don't pray every day. I don't take a picture every day. Like, there's nothing I do every day. So when I think about myself and self-discipline, I'm like, yeah, not so much. I mean, I do work out, I do meditate, I do pray, and I do take pictures, but I don't do any of it at the level that, that this gal's doing. Yeah.
But I would say, like you say, it doesn't feel like self-discipline to me. What happens is I wake up and I look out the window and I'm like, I just go.
Yeah.
I go.
That's what I mean about being like so clear about something.
Pictures and they're responding to them, so like people need to see the pictures.
Yeah. So there's the calling. I mean, I do feel like I have a calling around my message, and I'm passionate about my message. Yeah.
I feel like there is a discipline in a sense that you are so clear on who you are.
I'm super clear on who I am.
Sticking to that discipline.
Yeah. That's part of, yes, right? So I stay aligned with that. But to me, that's a spiritual practice. I have another talk, many of you have heard it, called Make Your Life a Living Prayer. And that's a mantra for me. Make my life, people say, Jackie, what's your best spiritual practice? My best spiritual practice is my life lived consciously. Make your life a living prayer. Yeah, Peter?
So I think the item I just chose to focus on, which is quite personal.
That's all right, just puke up that fur ball.
Addressing it begins with being aware of how my mind and my consciousness is creating the thing that I don't want right now.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. That's exactly it. And you have to be willing to see that correlation. But you're right, it all starts with awareness. So I don't know about discipline. I guess there's something in that realm of discipline, but you have to want something, I guess. And in how badly you want something. So let me just ask you, how badly do you want to know God? You know, Saima, a spiritual teacher, S-A-I-M-A-A, Saima is a spiritual teacher, and I heard her speak a couple of years ago, and she opened her talk by saying, want God more than anything. You know, when you think about what you say you want in life, how many of us would say, I want God more than anything? Nice. See, that's your self-discipline. When you have something that you want more than anything, and to me, mine is make my life a prayer, for my life to be used as God, by God, as God, to elevate consciousness on the planet, then everything else is just in service to that, including playing racquetball and watching the Super Bowl with my friends. So, you know, it doesn't mean I'm living this austere life, but I'm conscious about what I do and how I live. Yeah.
What brought you to clarity?
Oh, because I was a fucking train wreck. I was a fucking train wreck. You know, I was married and had just adopted a child and went through another major relapse of both addiction and depression. And I called my friend Marianne. I don't know if she's still on live stream. She was on live stream today. And I love her like a sister. And she has stage 4 lung cancer. And I just want us all to send her some love right now. My friend Marianne. So I had a baby, I had a beautiful spouse, I had a beautiful home, a wonderful career, and I was going to throw it all away because I was depressed, and my depression put me back into an addictive spiral. And by the way, I was a member here, probably board president here, and it was really, you know, it's that choice point. Is my life going to be this, or is my life going to be that? And I was sitting kind of back a little bit further behind where Wayne is at a talk that Shipley gave one day, and she quoted from the Gnostic Gospel of Thomas. I remember it like it was yesterday. And in the Gnostic Gospel of Thomas, it says, what you have inside of you that needs to be birthed through you, when you bring it forth, it will save you. And when you do not bring it forth, it will destroy you. And I knew that I had a calling to be a spiritual teacher and an author, and like to do this. And I was sitting in my cushy little therapy office, you know, making a good living and enjoy. I mean, I didn't hate being a therapist, but I knew there was some other calling, and my not pursuing it was destroying me. And I could see it. I could see the destruction. And now it wasn't just me. It was my spouse and my kid and her family and my family. You know, it got to be this bigger thing. And at some point, I just had to choose. So I did everything, you know, for a short time, well, not a short time, probably a couple of years, I went to, you know, meetings almost every day and had a sponsor, meeting with my sponsor, meeting with my therapist, meeting with my couples therapist, going to church here, on the board here. I threw myself into it, and I'm fine now. I'm more than fine. I am the happiest, most happily married person I know. I'm one of the happiest, most fulfilled, least stressed people that I know, and it is out of learning to do this and committing myself to it. I feel very, very, very blessed. Yeah, thank you for asking. Yeah. So I'm going to teach you this 3-step process that I use every minute of every freaking day. And it's so simple you won't believe that it will work. And it does work. Like they say in 12-step, it works if you work it. And by the way, I want to always have integrity in my talks. I no longer participate in the 12-step movement. I don't go to meetings any longer. And I do say I am recovered from addictions. I know that is not everyone's truth, and I honor the truth that you have, and I know that I depart from the traditions, but I definitely give a lot of the quality of my life to the 12 steps, and I borrow from them a lot. So like they say in 12 steps, it works if you work it. So I'm going to teach you this 3-step process. It's super, super easy. It's so easy that you're going to think, well, that can't be it. It must be harder. It must be more difficult. It's this process I'm about to teach you, and again, it's super, super simple, so don't get me like, wow, I can't wait, this is the one. I was going to be like, that's it? But I want to parallel it. There's some really good research out there in the mind-brain connection by Dr. Jeffrey Schwartz, who used this same process in treating obsessive-compulsive disorder And through the use of this process that I'm going to show you, which I didn't know was in the psychiatric literature from Dr. Jeffrey Schwartz, he actually changed the brains of people with obsessive-compulsive disorder to help them overcome their obsessions and their compulsions without medication. And it's simply this. The first step is you just have to notice, and I call it identify. Identify what's happening in your head. Identify the thoughts. Some of you guys are like, do I have to hear this again? Do you want to come up and teach this section? You good? Okay, good. Identify. So some of the people in this room are coaches in my life design program, and I love it that you guys are here. Thank you for being here, supporting me, even though you've heard me say some of these things 1,000 times. Yes, number one, identify, right? You can't hear it enough, right? See, look at the wisdom that they're showing. Even though they can call me up on the phone anytime, they're part of my community, they're here because they know how do you do this? You do it by surrounding yourself over and over and over again. There's a reason they say 90 meetings in 90 days. You do need to be brainwashed a little bit. So the first thing is always identify what's going on in your head. What's going on in your head right now? Probably not much, right? Because we're focused. Isn't that beautiful? Like focus can really quiet your mind. Beautiful. But then you'll leave here and you'll be like, well, that thing that Jackie said, does she really know what she's talking about? She was a therapist. Do therapists really know about spirituality? Like whatever. Your head's going to do whatever it does, right? Or maybe it's just something more mundane, like God, I'm hungry. Whatever. What's happening down at Andy Mann's. So you got to notice what's in your head, right? You notice what's in your head. And when it's in the lower realms of consciousness and vibration, when you're down here in survival, and it's, apathy and resignation, screw it, or it's anger and frustration, why can't my life be like Jackie's life? Why was she able to overcome and not me? Shut up. Right? That's the first thing. Shut up. You identify that that's what's in your head. Identify it. Second thing you do, so you get, step number one, everything starts with awareness, right? Identify it. Second word is disempower. You disempower it. How do you disempower it? Well, you say, well, is that the way you want to think? Where's that thought going to lead you? Is that all that's possible? Is that even true? Is that the future you want to live into? So you disempower it or debunk it. So I, identify, D, disempower or debunk, and you just talk. All I mean is talk back to it. That's it. That's all I mean. In the Dr. Jeffrey Schwartz model, he calls it like relabel the thought with OCD. He's the 4 R's. I made it simpler. It's 3 steps. Anyway, look it up, Dr. Jeffrey Schwartz, OCD research. It's fascinating stuff. It's exactly what I'm teaching you. Identify it. Disempower it. That's not true. It's not true that I'm a schmuck. It's not true that one of the things in my head, so it's always so lovely to speak here because people love me and are so supportive. So I always hear a lot of wonderful comments, but this man who's a world-class public speaking trainer once told me I was a good B-grade speaker. He once told me I was a good B-grade speaker. No shit. He said that. And I get it. He's, treating people in front of, football fields or tens of thousands of people. And compared to that, I'm a good B-grade speaker. But I can't get that out of my head up until now. Haven't been able to get that out of my head. So that's one of the ones, as I'm preparing for this, for each of my talks, it's like, like trauma etches in your consciousness. Why do you have bad memories more than good memories? Because of the survival mechanism in your brain. Do you know that? Anyway, that's a topic for another day. It's true. That's why... It is absolutely fascinating, survival mechanism. So that's one of those things that I just can't get out of my head up until now. I can get it out of my head now. But I can identify it. Thank you very much, Nick, for telling me that. You're a good B-grade speaker. And then I disempower it. Like, well, is that true? Well, no, actually, people really like my talks, and I feel really good about giving them. And maybe I'm not the football field kind of speaker, but maybe that's not the speaker I'm born to be. So I disempower. And is that the future you want to live into? Hell no. That's not the future I want to live into. The future I want to live into is that I'm raising consciousness on the planet, however God uses me. Do you get it? What's the second step? Disempower. First step? Identify. Second step, disempower. What do you think the third step is? Proclaim. Oh, I like that even better. Transform. So identify, disempower, transform. You just transform it. So like what else? In the whole realm of possibility, the infinite possibility in the universe, what else could be possible? Well, I could give a great talk. I could be a really good speaker. I could touch and change people's lives through the words that I speak and how God's expressing through and as me. That's possible in the realm of all possibility. That's possible. Now, the question becomes, how are you going to use your mind? Are you going to empower thought A, or are you going to empower thought C? And then you do that over and over. It was like, wow, that's awesome. And can you even feel it in your body? Like, you kind of feel better immediately. And then in about 32 seconds, you're going to go right back to thought A. This is why I said you won't believe me. So what I'm teaching you right now is backed by science that you can change your brain this way. You can change your thought patterns this way, which changes your emotional realm. You can also change your emotions this way, because I still have remnants of chronic depression. So sometimes I just like feel down. So I'll do this thing like, God, is there anything wrong? Yeah, no, nothing. You got a great life. Shut up. You know there was a couple words in there, right? I just took them right out. Shut up. You have a great life. And I just feel better. You just feel better. Identify, disempower, transform. It's really super freaking simple. And it's backed by science. And I promise you, by like Tuesday around 3 o'clock, you're going to be like, she's full of it. I've been disempowering and transforming all day long, and I still feel like crap. Yep, I know. You do it for 30 days and come back and tell me how you feel. That's why I like that 30-day challenge. Really focused on money, but it changes your vibe. Yeah.
What happens when you walk into the office and you run up against that person who's
Yeah.
going to send you back to thought A? Or
Yeah, tell them don't fuck with me. No, kidding. Sorry, that was inappropriate. Mark, just take that off. Take that right out of there. Yeah, that was inappropriate. Yeah, I mean, no, I hear you. Like, normally what I hear is, yeah, but what about the person I'm married to? Right? I hear that a lot too. Look, there's going to be people in your realm. I'm really not kidding. I would take a copy of that little vibe thing. If you want a bigger one, email me, and put it up around, like, so this is where I'm getting, this is wicked simple what I just said to you, isn't it? And it's the hardest thing you'll ever do. That and parenting. It's kind of because they're one and the same. It is the hardest thing you'll ever do. So what do you do when you walk in and that person is there? Well, you decide beforehand how you're going to handle that person. How am I going to be? Well, I'm going to be loving. I'm going to bring the love. I'm going to bring the joy. I'm going to use it as good comedy. I'm going to make a different decision today. And then, within a few minutes, you'll be right back to thought A, and then you disempower it, and then you transform it, and you'll feel a little better for about 30 seconds, and then you're going to be right back to thought A. Really, I'm not kidding. It is like an obsession. It is like an addiction. So you white knuckle it. You say, that's not you know what? That's my local mind. I want to be lived by the mind of God. I want to know the mind of God. And I'm never going to know the mind of God thinking like that person. Meaning yourself, by the way. Not her. She's not the problem. Your reaction to her is. Yeah, Dina?
Well, the funny thing about that is, so that process takes a little time in your mind. In the meantime, the person said something to you, and you're just sitting there and you don't say anything.
Yeah.
Because you're having that process go in your mind. And when you don't say anything, they don't know what to do. And then, like, it's gone. It's over.
Yeah.
It really works like that.
It really does.
People say stuff to me, I just don't even respond. I just smile at them. Then, I'm smiling. I'm like, yeah.
Yep.
I'm like, figuring this out. No, good. I'm good. See you later.
Yeah. Yeah, Lynette?
I also like thinking about it as energy. Like if I'm walking into
Yeah.
a situation where there's this toxic energy, what is my role in that place?
Mm-hmm.
So my role is to bring a different energy to it.
Yes.
And that's how transformation happens.
That's how transformation happens.
One heart at a time.
Yep.
Person at a time.
For some people, I mean, I don't know, Kathy, like how toxic it is. For people who are new at this conversation about living in elevated consciousness, and they really are passionate, they really want to live a high consciousness life, they really want to transform, and they're in a really bad toxic work environment, I do tell people leave. I don't tell people to get a divorce when they say their spouse is toxic, necessarily, although I would put it in the realm of possibility, because I don't know enough. But if you're newer at this, you're not as seasoned in it, you've not gotten accustomed to living in transformation consciousness, you're more easily bothered by things. And I don't mean that critically, it's just where your energy is right now. If you're in that place and the environment is really toxic, I would try it for like a couple of months, like get a buddy and tell them I'm doing this experiment and I wrote a blog post, I think it's on my website, it's called Being Unupsettable. I'm like I am unupsettable, I'm not unannoyable. So watch yourself. But I'm unupset. Like, stuff doesn't upset me. I don't lose sleep over anything. You know, and people can say shit or like whatever and do things, but it's just like, wow, that's that person doing that thing. So I'm unupsettable. So take that on for a couple months, and if, you know, and by the way, you'll be exhausted. Creating new neural pathways is exhausting. So if you take on what I'm working on with you today, and you're not exhausted, you're not doing it right. It's exhausting. Like a young kid needs to sleep a lot because their neural pathways aren't formed yet. So it's exhausting. But if you can suck it up for a couple of months and get a partner and really work at it, and you feel better in a couple of months, then hey, take it on, you know, stay there and have a great time. If not, life's short, baby. Yeah. And by the way, that person will be at your new workplace. Just saying. Just saying. Yeah, last question, then we're going to...
Those who are more sensitive or like empathic.
Yeah, no, that's me, HSP. Yeah. You know, put on your big girl pants and let God live through you. I am definitely an HSP. My poor spouse, my God, she's still like kind of buffer me and protect me all the time. So, I mean, there's no difference. We're all just human beings. It's where you're plugged into the matrix. Really, no kidding. You know, I would say to yourself a lot, put on your big girl pants, going out into the big world. You know, lighten up about it. You know, that whole HSP movement, and, you know, God only knows, it's one of the multiple diagnoses I've had over the years. Just don't give it too much power. Amanda? Oh, sorry, highly sensitive person. There's books that have been written about that whole phenomenon. And I do believe it is a phenomenon, that many of us probably are more energetically sensitive, can't take in certain things like even on television or movies. I can't stand being around. Yeah, like just really energetically sensitive. Yeah. Were you going to say something earlier?
I was going to say it's really doable. It does take commitment and staying around higher energy people. At a previous job, at one point I felt like I was in fight or flight mode all the time. I just wanted to be out of the building, and I was literally seeing an Amanda-shaped hole in the wall.
Yeah, yeah.
To like plummet through.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I was looking for something new and different, and I went from that experience to really enjoying my job and having a very positive experience.
It's great,
All
Amanda.
in the same setting, and all that changed was me.
So
Same other place.
that's a great testimonial. Thank you so much. That is so awesome. It is absolutely possible. As you change your consciousness, the circumstances around you will occur differently. Yeah, Lisa, and then Lavira.
And when you do have the moments of brilliance where you're like, oh, this is it, I think, what she was talking about.
Yeah.
You don't want to go back to the default that you were living. And you just want
It's so,
to stay there.
right? It makes life so much nicer. It's unbelievable. The difference between living this way and living in your default mind, I can't help it, this is just how I think, there are no words. It is unbelievable. And you can get there. You just have to, believe it, and then do the stuff that I'm talking to you about today, over and over and over again. Bring integrity to every area of your life, raise your vibe, keep that thing, take a picture of it, put it on your phone, have it be your screensaver, put it around you everywhere, be around high consciousness, high vibe people, and then use this 3-step IDT formula. I promise you, if you stick with it, simple steps, hardest thing you'll ever do, if you stick with it, you will be living in the domain of miracles. Yeah, Lavira?
Hopefully other people can relate to this.
Can you speak up, honey?
Yeah, when you first start, trying to live in a higher consciousness, and we all have set patterns that we fall back into. And a couple weeks ago, I was driving my car, and I started feeling sorry for myself for some reason. And it seemed justified.
Sure. Of course, I'm sure it was.
Wait, there it is. I'm in this road. I want to get out of it. I know how to do that. But I thought to myself, there's an indulgence in it. It almost feels good and comfortable because you've done it for so long.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
pay attention. Speaking to me, preach to the choir here. Don't allow yourself to do that because I think it's almost like not a laziness, but it's just like it's just so hard on the you'll feel so much better when you do it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Puke up that fur ball. It definitely. Yeah, yeah. Lynette, and then we need to wrap up.
Well, can I just put in a plug for life design coaching?
Yes, you may. Help yourself.
Who to walk people through the process of a one-to-one coaching program, life design, and it's all this stuff that Jackie's talking about, and it I brought about dramatic changes in
really extraordinary. Yeah, so Lavira, Lynette, not yet, Peter, Mark, Adina, Amanda, not yet. They're all life design coaches or coaches in training. And Katie's a graduate. John, did you ever take life design? No. Annie's a graduate. Yeah, your name just left me. Vanessa, I know that. We email each other. Vanessa, Peter's a coach. Yeah, so there's a bunch of people in here that are graduates of my work. So if you're interested in either taking the life design course, you can see any of my coaches, or if you're interested in becoming one of my 100 life design coaches and joining the curriculum for conscious living and being a conscious living coach, see me or any of the coaches about that as well. My goal this year is to have 100 life design coaches by the end of the year. And then from there, take a group of those coaches and train them in my whole curriculum for conscious living. And then from that group, take a small handful and train them to be life design trainers. And then it will outlive me. And it's definitely my legacy work and why I'm here on the planet. Yeah, Dina?
Well, while we're plugging, can we just say Amanda and I are offering a group program?
Oh, yes.
That starts March 11th.
Yes.
And if anybody's interested in that, we have some flyers.
Oh, yeah. You guys should all do that. Go take Amanda and Dina's course. So I wrote the course. It's all the stuff that I'm talking to you about. It's extraordinary, and they are wonderful, wonderful coaches. So do that, and then from there you can become a life design coach. Anyway, so that's just a little plug. My books are out in the bookstore. I'm sure there's still somebody there. Have we done the love offering thing? Did we do that? Not yet? Okay, so I don't know how we do that. Some of you paid at the bookstore. All right, if you did not leave a love offering, just checks to Unity on the River and give them to Peter. Why not? Give them to Peter. Now, Mark, I don't know. Give them to somebody. Yes.
Do you do Venmo? I wasn't planning on.
Oh, you don't have to pay anything. Don't.
No, I want to.
It's not for me personally. It's for the church. You can give something to the church. Don't worry about it. Thank you. That's very kind. And my spouse has a Venmo. I don't know what it is. Anyway, let's close with a prayer. Oh, thank you for getting the basket. That's very kind. So it gets Peter off the hook. All right, yeah, we'll just chill. Hold on for a second. We'll just close with a prayer, and then people can write their multi-million-dollar checks to Unity on the River. So, let's just you want to stand up? Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's stand up. That's a nice energy to it. I like that. Thank you. And let's just, as you're getting yourself centered, just move your body a little bit. Open your heart chakra, right? Just breathe in and open your heart chakra. Then open your third eye. We've done a lot of really intense thinking and feeling here. So be gentle with your heart, be gentle with your mind. Know that this work, these words, this vibratory pattern that you're now in is going to work in you and through you throughout the rest of today and probably throughout the rest of this week. Notice what you start noticing about your inner world. Notice what you start noticing about the people around you. That is this material working in you. You are here to live in quantum consciousness. You are here not to be run by your local mind, but to actually join with the mind of God to create your God self on earth. Silently repeat that right now. I'm here to create my God self on earth. Just feel the vibratory pattern of that. I'm here to be my God self on earth. Just a beautiful vibration to that statement. Use that as an affirmation this week. I'm here to be my God self on earth. I am being my God self. Every day in every way, I'm growing more into my God self. So we say thank you, God. God that we are, God that the energy of this universe is. We're humble, we're grateful that we're living at a time that the oneness that we are in the God self is growing and expanding. And we say thank you, God. Thank you for our lives. Thank you for this love in this room and this connection and the support. Thank you that we all have a passionate commitment to growing more fully awakened as our God self on earth. And so it is. Amen. Thank you, everybody. I'll hang around and talk to people as much as you would like.